Hey guys, what's going on? This is kind of a recap of the 2020 Tour de France. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of friends, other cyclists, and I think there's a general consensus. This is probably one of the best Tour de France in a very long time. I've been cycling for about 15 years and definitely the best tour that I have seen. So I guess people who have asked me what has made this tour so special, or why are people saying this is the best tour? Well, considering the circumstances, hey, the reality, 2020 has affected everybody, every industry, coronavirus. There's been a lot of different preparations and lead up to this year's tour. So that has definitely affected the team dynamics, racing. I think the UCI Tour calendar racing only started about 6 weeks ago, and a lot of condensed racing in a very short amount of time. But the typical races leading up to the Tour de France and the preparation milestones and races didn't happen. Another consideration that has made this such a special tour, timing. Typically the tour starts in late June, finishes in July. This year started at the end of August. A lot of guys might not have had opportunity to ride outside. For me, yes, I've got a kicker, you see it in the background, but I think I can only tolerate about an hour of riding on the kicker, even distracted with the TV. Just can't do it. Hearing that some guys have done 6-7 hours on a trainer, I can't imagine that. I'd go insane with that. Some of the other things, again, guys not having any racing, as much racing preparation and actual racing miles in their legs. That plays a lot. You don't have your performance or your fitness may be there, but your sense of awareness, reading the race tactics, all that is very different. You can only get that in racing. So that has been very different preparation leading up to the tour. So we gotta say congratulations. A very unexpected yellow jersey claim on the second to last stage, stage 20, which featured an uphill time trial up the Planche de la Belleville. Pogacar was down on the GC in second place by 57 seconds, and he wins the stage and claims the stage over Roglic by almost a minute. So he gained back nearly 2 minutes to take on the stage. That performance, significantly unexpected. What a surprise. Much deserved Tadej Pogacar in winning this year's Tour de France. Obviously, Primož Roglic ran an amazing race with perfect team tactics. Just didn't have it on stage 20. So he was second on GC, and then a surprise third and final podium spot goes to Richie Porte. That was a very surprise performance to leapfrog from fourth to third to claim the final spot on the podium. Richie Porte was able to stay healthy, stay out of crashes, which allowed him to actually finish the tour without the significant pressures and expectations of the main overall GC, and he claimed his spot. So hats off and congratulations to him. So what made Tadej Pogacar's Tour de France and yellow jersey so special? Well, he did not have quite the supporting team that Primož Roglic and Team Jumbo-Visma had. So that was a significant difference. However, that also meant that he didn't have the pressure to defend the yellow jersey. All he had to do was follow the yellow jersey, just be right there. He did attempt to attack a few times, but Primoz would just outsprint him towards the very end to not lose any time gap or to gain whatever minimal time bonuses there were. He did lose a little bit of time on stage 18, and then early on in the race he did lose due to a mechanical on the very windy stage that separated, where he lost the most significant amount of time. He did make it up a few stages later, gaining back about 40 seconds. So that was quite amazing. That was stage 11 where he did gain back time. Primoz Roglic, happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday. Way to win the Tour one day before your 22nd birthday. So that makes him essentially the youngest Tour de France winner. So congratulations to him. So some stats about the yellow jersey this year. There were 5 exchanges. The first yellow jersey wearer was Alexander Kristoff after stage 1, where he won the first sprint. Stage 1 was a very weird stage, lots of crashes. Tony Martin captaining the peloton, really having everybody stay together with all the crashes that were going on, and then allow the sprinters to contest for the stage. Next, Julian Alaphilippe held on to the yellow jersey after gaining on stage 2. For 3 stages, everybody thought his performance would be very similar to last year, where he held the yellow jersey for the majority of the Tour. Didn't seem to quite be that way this year, although he raced with heart and was amazing to watch. Adam Yates, next jersey winner, 4 stages. Maybe not quite unexpected, but great performance for him on the days he was able to hold on to the yellow jersey, but ultimately surrendered it to Primoz Roglic, who held it for 12 stages. And interestingly enough, Primoz only won 1 stage, but had high enough standings in a GC that between time bonuses and finishes, he gained and held on to the yellow jersey for 12 stages. And then finally, Tadej Pogačar gained the stage and the yellow jersey when it counted most, after winning stage 20 and carrying it into Paris to the Champs-Élysées to then be the overall winner. Next, one of the most hotly contested jersey, aside from the yellow jersey, was the points jersey, also known as the green jersey. This was a really hot battle throughout the whole stage race in the Tour. There were 5 exchanges. Obviously, Alexander Kristoff gaining the first green stage, or green jersey, also the yellow jersey. And he held on to the green jersey for 2 stages, followed by Peter Sagan gaining the green jersey for 2 stages, then being pipped by Sam Bennett, who held on to the green jersey for 2 stages. Then Peter Sagan gained it back for 3 stages, only to lose it back to Bennett on a controversial stage where maybe he went into a line that wasn't really there, and to avoid crashing into the barrier, headbutting Wout van Aert and being relegated, losing whatever points that would have been gained for his, I think, 4th place finish on that stage, but also he was docked points. So after that stage, he was always playing catch up to attempt to regain the green jersey, but in the end, never did. That being said, Bora Hansgrohe rode an amazing race. They did win a few stages, but Bora Hansgrohe, I think really with the battle for green jersey, made the Tour really exciting. Boerhansgrove, once Peter Sagan lost the jersey, they really drilled it at the front, kept the pace high, tried to drop Sam Bennett, did drop Sam Bennett, gained some intermediate points, slowly inched Peter Sagan up towards contestant into the green jersey points. And there was this constant battle. Could they push the pace high enough where Sam Bennett wouldn't be able to make it over the mountains before the time cut? Didn't happen that way. Sam Bennett ultimately finishing with the green jersey on the Champs-Élysées and finishing the final stage. So for him to win his first Tour de France stage, knocking Peter Sagan off his 7th or 8th jersey consecutive win, green jersey in the Tour, quite amazing for the Irishman. The polka dot jersey. First made 5 exchanges. First gained in the first stage by Fabien Grelier. Then Benoit Cosnefroy held on to the jersey for 15 stages. Tadej Pogačar gained it for 2 stages. However, Richard Carapaz on Ineos's only stage win gained the polka dot jersey, and then it went back to Tadej Pogačar on stage 19 and 20. So it was a short-lived reign by Richard Carapaz to hold that held on to the polka dot jersey for 1 stage. Interestingly enough, Benoit Cosnefroy, who held on to the jersey for 15 days, was constantly being dropped on the mountain stages. So it kind of works out that way. He was able to gain intermediate points on the early mountain stages when the GCs were watching each other. However, when the true mountain stages came on, he wasn't able to stay and actually got dropped. Not his fault, it's just how the organizers and how the polka dot jersey works out. Some breakout riders to take note of. Obviously, Sam Bennett gaining the green jersey, 3 stage wins, amazing tour. He kept him and Julian Alaphilippe kind of kept it with De Koninck Quick-Step and made a very successful Tour de France for them, not having a main GC guy. Next is Mark Hershey. This young guy looks amazing on a bike. Awesome pedal stroke. Can time trial. Previous junior world champion. Riding for Team Sunweb. Had 2 stage wins and was on multiple breakaways. So he looked amazing. Soren Craig Anderson also gained 2 stage wins. That was pretty amazing. Leonard Kamna, great stage wins, or stage win for him. Amazing performance there. Other breakout riders and US riders. We have 3 US riders in the tour: Sepp Kuss, Niels Paulus, and TJ Van Garderen. Didn't really see a lot of TJ Van Garderen, however, I believe he did finish the tour. Sepp Kuss, Team Jumbo-Visma, pretty much main helper for Primož Roglič. He was the last climber to stay with Primož Roglič through the Alps and the Pyrenees. Amazing performance. I remember seeing him last year in the Volta where he won a stage, and this year quite amazing as well. He won a stage in what was it, Dauphiné Libre, where Primož Roglič crashed out. So amazing performance by him. And then another breakout rider and US rider is Nielsen Paulus. Amazing performance by him. He was one of the main breakaway specialists for this year's tour. He was pretty much involved in all the breakaways, the main breakaways throughout the tour. Pretty much put EF Education on the map with his performance. His first tour, and they did, EF Education did win one stage with Danny Martinez. So again, amazing out riders and US riders there. Team performances, again, Jumbo Visma, you know, in reality, they rode the perfect race, did everything correctly, dominated, set the pace, set the tempo, kept all their contenders in check. Maybe they burnt a lot of matches, who knows? Primož Roglič had the perfect team. Kind of mimics the old Team Sky or Team Ineos. Their performance was just amazing. In the end, stage 20, Primož just didn't look great on the bike. Maybe he was overtired, overcooked, and we can't discount just the amazing performance and stage win on stage 20 on the Planche de Belleville by Tadej Pogačar. So quite amazing. And obviously Team UAE didn't need to control or overly chase down a ton of breaks. Tadej was able to stay with the main favorites in GC. This year's tour was not without controversy. Obviously, the stage 11 headbutt by Peter Sagan and Wout van Aert. Fortunately, there was no crash there. Peter Sagan able to stay upright. Also, Wout van Aert. So we did not see a repeat of the previous horrific sprint crash into the barriers from the previous race earlier this year. If you didn't hear, the main director sportif of Jumbo Visma after stage 17 was ejected from the race. After stage 17, apparently the commissars, UCI commissars, went to check Primož's bike. Did, I guess, the x-ray scan. Obviously no motors were found. However, rumor has it that commissar took it upon himself to attempt to dismantle the crank and bottom bracket to, I guess, physically also inspect Primož's bike. And there was, whether it was a verbal altercation or whatnot, which led to their main director sportif being ejected from the tour. No doping scandals that I'm aware of. However, after the finish and conclusion of the tour, Arkea's hotel was investigated with some questions of medications and possible doping issues. Don't know the full details yet, but pretty much can read it on any cycling website, definitely cyclingnews.com, Velo News, Pez Cycling, everything's out there as far as what were the circumstances, what's going on, what do they think. Interestingly, being not quite a controversy, but something pretty funny, the fact that being in coronavirus, the Tour de France bubble was over 700 people, and throughout the whole tour, only 4 support crew, none of the riders, 4 support crew were found positive from different teams, so no teams were asked to leave the Tour de France. Additionally, Christian Prudhomme, who is the Tour de France director, the race director, was tested positive on the first rest day, and was not involved in any direct tour activities on site for 7 days. So he returned, I believe, after the second rest day. So kind of interesting, kind of funny. The race director asked to be sent home. And finally, to discuss who were the big losers of the Tour de France. You can say he's the winner. Also, you can say he's a loser. Unfortunately, Primož Roglič did not win the Tour de France. Lost it on the last possible day he could. Obviously not on the Champs-Élysées, but on stage 20, where after holding the yellow jersey for 15 days, finally showed some weakness, and pretty significant to then lose the Tour de France and the yellow jersey pretty much at the last possible moment. Second to that, Team Ineos, obviously the big losers. Never looked great. Egan Bernal, who was last year's Tour winner, abandoned. They really were not performing great. There's some questions as to should Geraint Thomas and or Chris Froome have been included in Team Ineos's roster. Ultimately, they were not. Don't know if that would have changed anything with that team's performance. The consolation was Miguel did win his first Tour stage, and again, Richard Carapaz did hold and gain the polka dot jersey for one stage. So that's a consolation. I wouldn't really say that is a successful Tour de France for them. 12 teams did not win the stage of this year's Tour. And no French team, with exception of AG2R, were included in that. That win was by Naz Peters for AG2R, Le Mondial. Richie Porte and Team Trek Segafredo did not win a single stage. However, again, Richie Porte did make podium, third place finish. I think without the expectation of him being one of the favorites. However, he was a team leader for Trek and did gain a third place finish, which then brings the final big loser was Miguel Lopez. He did win a stage of the Tour. However, leading into stage 20, he was third place. However, his performance was not enough, where he lost a considerable amount of time, and Richie Porte did leapfrog him to gain the third and final podium position. So one kind of interesting stat, as you see, I'm wearing a Colnago t-shirt here. This is actually Colnago's first Tour de France claim, yellow jersey claim, and Tour de France win after being founded in 1950. Quite amazing for them to be able to win pretty much every other bike race. The Giro, the Volta, other stage races, Classics, World Championship. However, this is their first Tour de France win, so congratulations to Colnago. And then the equipment manufacturer for Team UAE was Campagnolo. So I am in support, yellow hat, Campagnolo World Championship hat, and then the Colnago C64 t-shirt honoring their first win. Again, congratulations to the podium finishers, Tadej Pogačar. I think we're gonna see lots more wins from him in the future. Obviously, he gets to put his name with Eddie Merckx, Bernard Hinault, Fausto Coppi as first-time Tour de France participant and overall winner. So congratulations to them. So let me know what your thoughts are on the Tour de France 2020. Let me know if I left something out, if I have some details wrong. Your thoughts, if you agree, disagree, comment below, let us know. Thanks, guys. This is KSquared Cycling, the Khoi